I work with my uncle.
You scared of him?
Oh, he's the nicest man in the world.
The Osage.
Their time is over. We got to take back control of our home.
I was sent down from Washington, D.C. to see about these murders.
We have so many deaths, we've lost count.
It's just bad luck.
Seems more like an epidemic than bad luck.
That was a clip from Killers of the Flower Moon from Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's bring in film critic Richard Crouse to talk more about this and what else you can watch this weekend. Richard, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Renee. Thanks for having me.
Now let's start with Killers of the Flower Moon. Many big names are part of this movie. Tell us about it.
Yeah, this is Martin Scorsese's 3.5-hour long epic. It will eventually go to Apple TV Plus, but see it in the theater if you can, because it is immersive. It's a slow burn story based on a true story set in Oklahoma in the 1920s. The Osage people have found oil on their land, and it made them per capita some of the richest people in the world. With that came people that were very eager to separate the Osage from their oil and their money, including a man named William King Hale, played by Robert De Niro. And he is the charming face of evil. He is someone who learns to speak the Osage language. He goes to their community ceremonies. He ingratiates himself while meanwhile stabbing them in the back and arranging a marriage and murder scam to separate them from their money. And one of the people he draws into this plan is his nephew, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who marries a young Osage woman played by Lily Gladstone. And this is a movie that is about greed. It is about corruption. And those are familiar topics for Martin Scorsese, but they have never been as dastardly and have never cut quite as deep as they do in this film. Robert De Niro plays the most vile character of his career, and keep in mind, he played the devil in Angel Heart, so that's how morally bankrupt this man is. And you have Leonardo DiCaprio doing great work. Lily Gladstone provides the heart and soul of this movie. See it on the big screen. Let it immerse you or become immersed in it, and I think you'll be rewarded with a classically made, beautiful movie about Indigenous resilience and the brutality that they faced in the recent past, about 100 years ago, called Killers of the Flower Moon. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and it's in theaters right now.
Ooh, okay. Now, next is Anatomy of a Fall. Mm-hmm. This is a drama crime taking place in a French courtroom. What's this one all about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one is set in the beginning anyway, in the Swiss Alps. It's a beautiful home. There's a family that lives inside this beautiful home, a husband, wife, and a young son. When the husband is found outside the house, it appears that he's fallen from a second-story window. But was he pushed or did he fall? And the police decide that perhaps he was pushed, and they arrest his wife, played by Sandra Hüller. And then the rest of the movie is a courtroom battle to prove her innocence or guilt. And there's a number of things that are fascinating about this movie. Firstly, the performance of Sandra Hüller embraces the character's unlikability. And that is key to the movie, because I think what Anatomy of a Fall is trying to do is make us as a viewer look at a character that we don't like very much and examine our own prejudices and biases that we may have against her. So it involves you in the story in that way. Plus, it's a fascinating courtroom battle, well acted and beautifully shot and produced. It's called Anatomy of a Fall, and I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars, and it's in theaters right now.
All right, we don't have much time, but lastly is Dix, the musical, coming out today. What is that one about?
This one is about 2 young men who discover that they're long-lost twins, and they try and bring their families back together, their estranged parents back together, and they're played by Megan Mullally and Nathan Lane. And this movie just simply isn't as shocking as it wants to be. A movie like this, which seems to be built to be an automatic midnight madness movie, the kind of thing you go out to see on a Saturday night at midnight after you've been out doing something else all night, and you have a good time, kind of a Rocky Horror Picture Show or an old John Waters film, something like that. But it never quite lifts off the ground. It was originated as a half-hour stage show, and I would imagine it was probably a blast back then as that. But stretched to an hour and a half, it feels stretched a little thin. So I gave it 2 out of 5 stars, and it's in theaters right now.
All right, Richard Crouse, film critic, always good to talk to you. Thanks for this.